Alright YouTube, in this video we are going to create a password manager using local storage. You will be getting the source code in the description along with the steps to be followed. If this is a password manager, you can see if you type your social website along with your email, your registered ID and registered password, if you click on save, it will be stored over here and along with the local storage. Fine. If you click submit, you can see in the local storage uh, third list is added, but in the code it's not added. I think I have missed the function after click. Let me paste the function. So once I click on the submit, you will see let me type the social site as Twitter and let me type my registered email ID on Twitter and password. Now right now we are storing this on local storage. That means even if the browser is closed, your data will be secure in the local storage. Fine. In this you can see in the last row, the enter data is added. You'll get the source code in the description. Fine, these are the steps that we are going to follow. Fine, let me start from scratch. We need two files. The first one is index.html and the second one is main.js. Fine. Now simply to clear the local files, what if I click on submit, you can see the local file is cleared, and I'm going to do in the same file. That's the reason I have cleared the local storage. Fine. Now the first thing is we are going to design the HTML. Now we are going to start from scratch. Let me refresh, Control Shift R. Yeah, it's done. The first thing what we need, I have added a bootstrap template along with my script. You can see in the JS folder I have a file called main.js, and right now we would be requiring heading, and this heading will be inside the Jumbotron. This is a bootstrap design as I have given the CDN. Fine. Now we are going to add a form. We need three input field. As I have shown you, we are going to add social site and the registered email ID and registered password. And we are going to use the form method equal to post and ID. We are going to give the ID so that we can call the form in the JavaScript. And the label would be social site. And this is the ID of the input field. Let's give the ID of input field site. Fine. Let's make it text so that we can see. Copy the same for the two other. So the second one is account ID. This is the ID, account ID. Copy it and give it to the input field ID. And the third one is simply the password. We are using local storage. That means even if we close the browser, it is going to stay. Fine. Now let's correct the plus spelling. If you see, you will be seeing the form. Yeah, it's clearly visible. If you want to align in the center or the input field label and the button, you would be typing text center class to the Jumbotron. Fine. Now it's time for the table. Let's copy paste the code of the table for the bootstrap. This table will have all the entered data which we have entered on the input field. So we would be having three columns. The first one is the social site, the second one, and in the t-body I'm going to give the ID, and this t-body is going to get dynamically created using JavaScript. Fine. It is social site and then its account ID and then the password. Let's make the heading of the table as static th, and we will make the t-body dynamic using JavaScript. I'm going to add the heading password keeper, or you can say password manager. Fine. Align center. So text center is a class to make it align center. Let's make it inside Jumbotron. Let's paste the heading inside Jumbotron. Fine. Let's paste the table outside of Jumbotron. Fine. If you refresh it, you can see table is outside of Jumbotron. Let's give the table head color as primary blue. BG primary is blue simply. Fine. Now it's time to add listener load. The reason for adding load is because when the document is fully loaded, I want the script to get executed. If if you want to do it in the jQuery, it is simply $document.ready, but we are going to do it in the JavaScript, so the link is established. That's the reason why I tested alert. Now it's time to add listener. Window dot add listener. We are going to add listener to it. As I said, this is the alternate for document.ready. We are not using jQuery here, we are using JavaScript. That's the reason window.add listener. When the window, your whole window loads, I want to execute a function called initialize. So this initialize will simply alert now. When the document is completely loaded, the script will be executed. That is what I'm doing with the help of add listener to the window. Fine. Now it's time to prevent default. If you see, there is nothing in the URL. Let me remove the alert so that I can show you the default way of the form. Now if you click on submit, you can see in the URL hash comes up. This hash is coming from the action. We want to stop it. How we are going to stop it? With the help of choose the form in the JavaScript document.id, where we have given the form the ID. To get the ID, document.getElement by ID is the code, and I am going to add listener to it. When this form submit, I want a function to get executed. It will be in the second parameter. So this function, let's create a function name. When there is submit, this function will be executed. This function name is on submit do. So when you click on submit, I want to prevent the default behavior of the form. To prevent the default behavior, that is to stop executing the action attribute of the form, we will be writing e.prevent default. So if you see, if you click on submit 2-3 times, the hash is not showing up because we have added e.prevent default. Don't forget to give e to the function as an parameter. Fine. Now we are going to get all the ID and I'm going to store it into a variable. To get the ID, document.getElement by ID is the query or is the code. This is the first ID of the input field, and I'm going to store it to a variable. To get the reason for getting the ID is to get the value of the input field. This is how we get the value of input field. Document.getElement by ID dot value. If you get into the console, if I type something and click on submit, you can see whatever I have typed on the input field, it is showing up because of the property dot value. Fine. Now I'm going to store this into a variable called, you can give any name. I'm going to give the variable as site. Do this for all the 3 input field, or the 2 input, or we have total 3 input field. The second one is the account ID, and the third one is simply the password. Now the next step is to create an object. Creating an object is very easy in JavaScript. You just have to follow the syntax along with me. Create, this is the object name, curly brace open and close. The object will have key value pair. The ID is the key. Let's give the name something different, keep site, and it will store the value, input field value site. Likewise, we have 3 input field. We are creating 3 keys and values. Fine. Once it's done, this is how we create object in JavaScript. Fine. Now we have created the object in the JavaScript. The next step we are going to follow, store values in local storage. Right now you can see there are no values in the local storage. If local storage can be accessed or inserted using get item and set item, I'm checking whether there is already a value called hold in the local storage. If the value is null, then just alert it like it's null. If the local storage is null, as I have shown you, it is already null. If you click on submit, it will say null. Yeah, it's null. If it's null, what we want to do is, and if it's not null, what we will do, there are two cases we are going to do. We'll create an array. We'll initialize an array first, all values in array. This is the name of the array. This is how we initialize array in JavaScript. Now what we do is we push our object into the array. Keeper is our object name. This is how we push. Now our object is in the array. Now what we are going to do is we are going to store the array to the local storage. Object pushed to array. Sorry. Now we are going to send the array to the local storage. As I said, to access and to insert, we will be having a function called getItem and setItem. So we would be using setItem to insert value. Here the value is the array. Now this array we are going to send it to the local storage. Local storage, this is the array name. Now we cannot pass the array to the local storage, but instead we need to convert our array to the object. So fine, that's the function, that's this json.stringify does. Now I'm going to pass, this is the key. Let's give the name key as hold, and in the second parameter we will be passing the value in the object form. We have an array, but we are passing it as object using json.stringify. Now if you check, if you type something, it will be stored in the key value pair on the console. I'm typing some of the credential which would be duplicate. You can see key and value, and the value is set. Whatever you have written, it's showing on the value section. Fine. Now if it's not null, what we want to do, if it's not null, we want to get all the values from the input field. Sorry, we want to get all the values from the local storage and push it again. That's what I'm saying. If it's not null, then fetch all local storage values and then insert it again in the form of array. Fine. To fetch the value, what we would be having a function called local storage.getItem, local storage.getItem. So it is a key. Here we have named at hold. So this will be in the object form. I want this to be in the array. So to convert it, json.parse is a function. Convert to array. It's not an object, it's an array. Fine. As we have already stored array, that's why I'm saying it's array. Now to get the array value, json.parse will do it. Json.parse function will do it. This is not how we write it. This is the way. Yeah, this is the right way. Now I'm going to store it into an array, all stored values in array form, because we have retrieved it using json.parse. Fine. Now we have taken all the value, and again if it's not null, push it again, push and pass the object. If you remember, these are the values which we retrieved and passed it to the object. Fine. Now again send the values, set the array to the local storage. The same code we are going to copy it again and pass this array now. So you would be a little confused, because instead of getting all the values and pushing it again, why don't we update directly? Because there is no function called updating in the local storage. To update the local storage, what we have to do is we have to get all the values and push the new value, and the old value plus new value creates a new value, and this new value we are going to insert it to the local storage. This is how it's done, because there is no update function in the local storage. That's what we did here. Fine. Now if you see, let's type my some of the credential. If you click on submit, you can see the second object is added. Now what we need to do is we want to append the local storage value to the table row. Before that, let if you click on submit, if I click on submit, I want all the input field value to get blank. So this is how we do. Now if you click on submit, all the values will get blank, because previously it was already showing when I click on submit. That's why I made it blank. Now it's time to run a function. Once this function, I'm going to make it on load the body. Once this function runs, this function will fetch all the values from the local storage and dynamically add it to the t body. If you remember, we have added a t body with id, and this is the name of the function, fetch all values. I'll write it inside the initialize function. After the initialize function, fine. Now what this function will do, as I said, it will fetch all the values from the array. Sorry, it will fetch all the values from the local storage. To get all values, get item, local storage get item, local storage dot get item, and we need to pass the key, and it will be in the object form. I want it to be in the array form. JSON.parse we have already seen in this tutorial, and store it to a variable, or you can say store it to an array formatted, initialize an array. Fine. Now we are going to run the for loop, and the for loop will run till the length of the array. As we have already inserted two values, so length of the arrays will be 2 I plus plus. Fine. Now let's console and log and see. To access the object, I'm going to access the first one. The property is keep site. Let's console and see. I have passed 0. It is because it is going to access the very first object. Let's console log and see. This will run on load. It's not saved. Yeah, it's not, right now it's saved. If you click and see, it has run 2 times, and in the 2 times the first value is fetched. The 2 times, it is because it's the length of the array. Now instead of just the site name, we would pass the account ID and the password also. You can see we are passing the 0 index. That means it will fetch only the first value. Only the first value is fetched twice. To get all the values, you need to pass the I instead of 0, and this I will start from 0 and ends to the, you can see now we have 2 values, and these values are unique because the I run from 0 to 2. Fine. Now we have already got all the values. Now we are going to append this value to the output. We have initialized a variable called output, and this variable will hold the HTML. You can see I have written tr, that means table row, and we would be passing td. We would be having 3 td because the first we have 3 columns: site name, account ID, and password. So we would be passing the first td. The syntax is wrong. We need to add tick instead of double quotes. The reason for using tick is because we can insert multiple lines. I think I have used, yeah, right now I have used tick. It will work now. if you see, now we want to append the variable to the t body. So to do it, document dot get element by id, the t body id, we would be getting the t body id. Along with that, with the help of inner html property, we can add the html to it. So output, if you refresh it, you can see the local values, the local storage values are fetched on load when the document loads and getting displayed as the table row. Fine. Now if you want to test, you can add some more thing. Let's type and see, and this function to get also called once we click on submit. Once I click on submit, this will also dynamically append all the html. You can see there are only two values. Now I'm going to give the Twitter credentials. If you click on submit, you can see the third value is added, but in the table row it's not added. Let's check why. I think I have not saved it. Let's refresh it. Yeah, on refreshing it shows. Let me type again some duplicate values. If you click on submit, you can see now the value is added once I click on the submit. That's all for this studio. Sorry, that's all for this video. Get the source code in the description along with the steps to be followed. Thanks for listening.